to get married. Well, I did.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're coming around to that.
Yeah.
All right, so I did want you to share a little bit of your story.
Okay.
Okay, because I know that you were a single mom.
Yeah.
You're not no single mom no more. But I do want you to talk a little bit about that, because there are still a lot of single mothers out there who are still struggling.
Yeah.
And I need inspiration, man.
Yeah.
Need some kind of motivation to like move, go
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't want to be a single mom. It's just what happened.
Nobody wants to be a single mom.
But so my son's dad, we got engaged. We were engaged. But he pretty much ghosted me. And so as a Spanish family, Christian family, as we are, we got engaged. I wasn't like feeling him like that. I was just like, okay, we're having a baby. It's just,
right.
That's my thing. It was my fault. I should have known better, but here it is. It's coming. And so, so we got engaged, and then, I guess he just was like, no,
like, nah,
I'm good. And so our family, we're like, every time they're like, oh, you need to reach out to him. You need to invite him to the baby shower. Like, I was trying to be nice. Like, the father, he would text me like couple of months, like throughout my pregnancy, he would text me like, hey, how's it doing? Everything's good. Like, everything was fine. Like, we were fine. Like, I knew we broke up. I was just like, I don't think that we should be together because I'm just not feeling you. Like,
right.
I don't want to get married just to get married just because I'm having a kid.
Right.
Because a lot of people do that.
Right. And it's like the wrong expectations. You don't have to get married.
You don't have to. You don't have to, because it sucks when you're with someone. And I personally see my parents the way they are, and I tell my dad, I love my dad, but I always tell him, you are a horrible husband, but you're a good dad. But as far as like husband wife, like, I would never want someone to have pity on me. I would never want someone to just be with me just for a kid, because the kids leave. You know that. Kids leave. They'll leave. And
now you're stuck with the person.
And I'm stuck with someone I don't even like.
Right.
I don't like you. Like, right. We don't have nothing. We only thing in common we got is a baby.
Exactly.
And the baby leaving. So there's nothing. No. So I was just like, I don't feel like me and you, like, no. So I said, I just want you to be part of your son's life. That's like, I just want you to be part of life. I was never like a petty baby mama. I was never like that. I've never been that way. I'll say I was like that when I was younger. But as I got older, I wasn't in that, being petty and stuff like that. Even though I wanted to be. Because he was trying to be slick. But yeah, so our family was just like, even at the baby shower, I felt awkward. Because I don't think you were there at the baby shower. You were already.
I think I was already here.
Yeah, you were already here. But every day, our family would be like, "Oh, you gotta reach out to him. He's the son of the father. You just gotta make it work." And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna make it work. He's over there messing with somebody else, cheating, do whatever. Right. Why am I gonna be with someone that obviously goes to me? Obviously is being with different women. Like,
right.
I'm not,
they don't want to be with you, right?"
So they were like, "But you still need to try." I'm like, "I'm not going to." So then at the baby shower, I was by myself, opened up gifts, things like that. It was awkward. My sister tried her best to. Me, if you know my sister, she's like, "Come on." I'm just like, yeah. But by the grace of God, my mom and my dad, my sister, my immediate family, they helped me a lot with, getting everything I need. My job at the time that I had, they provided everything I needed to as well. Like, I finished my associates. I had just finished my associates when I had when I was pregnant with Dylan. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I chose to be. I just waited like 2 years. Well, let me go back. I took 7 months off. After I had Dylan, I took 7 months off, and I went to back to school for my bachelor's.
Okay.
Because I was like, I never, and I had to be on food stamps. I had to do all those things just to take care of my son. But I was like, I don't want to be that type of single mom. I don't want to be a statistic. I don't want to be a minority who's on food stamps and things like that. I got off the food stamps as soon as I went back to work. Because the job I had, they weren't paying for maternity leave, so I had to get on it. But as soon as I got back to work, I was like, I refuse. And it's not about like pride or anything. No. It's just like, I don't want to be that type of woman. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
I was like that as well. Yeah. I was a little on it for just a little bit, and only because I mean, my job was like $8 an hour. Like that wasn't nothing. That's but as soon as I was able to get a job that was I can afford, bills and everything, and there was food for the baby, and I was able to provide. I got off of it. Like, I feel like it should be only needed for those who needs it, but you should not be just on it. Like that. But living through the system like that. There's a lot of people who just live through the system and just stays like that. I'm like, you're growing your career and you're still living through the system when there's so many people out there that needs it. You don't need it. Why are you on the system? I don't know. I think it takes a lot for moms and parents to be like, you know what, we're going to get off the system. Yes. You should give yourself a pat in the back. Yeah, you made
nowadays, it's just hard now. But back then in Connecticut, there was there's like more help. But I just didn't want it. And I just said, I was like, I am going to take my son with me. And a lot of times, women, they're like, oh, I got a kid. That's it. Life is over. Life is not over. You can still go. Guess what happened? He's just gonna have to come along with you with your dream. Even though he said I took 7 months off. Okay, I spent all the time that I needed. I brought him to work with me. I was working at daycare. I brought him to work with me. At that time, I didn't start getting child support until like he was like 10 months old, because that's when his father decided to be in his life. He was like 10, 11 months old when they actually met each other. And that was because I had reached out to his mother, and I was like, hey, did you have a grandchild? Because he wasn't responding. The father he wanted nothing. MIA. He was MIA. He wanted nothing to do with Dylan at all. And so I was just like, hey, this is your grandchild, whatever. And she was like, and she knew who I was. Because he tried to play this thing like he didn't know me. He was trying to play games, and I'm not gonna bash him, but he did a lot to make me not like him, and let me tell you, it was a lot of God's grace that I had that right now that we're able to sit and have conversation. But before, it was very hard. But yeah, so we had to go to court. We had to take a DNA test because he was doing all these this is not mine, all these crazy things, which I knew it was him, but so he made me go through all that just for him to be in his son's life. And dealing with his girlfriend, everything. I had to change my number because it was just a back and forth kind of thing. And so we went to court and everything, and that was our first conversation when Dylan was like 10 months old or something like that. And we had finally had a face-to-face conversation, and I just told him straight up, like, I never asked for anything from you. The only thing I actually do is acknowledge that he's yours,
right,
and to help me with him. That is it. I don't even need the money, but the court is giving it to you, is making you do it because you don't want to be part of the life. So you're gonna pay child support. And he was like, oh, they could have made it like a lot. And I was like, just give me the minimum. Like, I don't even need a lot. Just give me the minimum because it's only going to him.
Right.
You know? And so that's what we did. Like, he had to pay because I was on like the state. He had to pay the state back. That's the reason why the courts went after him. Because when a state in Connecticut, I think they go after the father if you're on the state. So he had to pay them back. And I was like, I ain't paying it back. You're gonna pay it back because you didn't help me at all. You know what I mean? Like, you should have been there.
Right.
So that's not my fault. That's the law of Connecticut. The father has to pay.
It just make it so much easier if you just stay involved.
Yeah.
If you just stay involved from the get-go, you wouldn't have so many of these issues, you know, with the court.
Exactly. Because I told him, I said, we don't have to be together.
Like, you can have like some kind of agreement with each other. If you have that, you'll be fine. You know, I don't understand why there's just so many people out there that just, you know, they have to go through the court and all this other. And there are a lot of women who are just money hungry and taking all the money from the man when the man is really trying to be involved and stuff like that. It's just like,
no, I honestly don't care about the money. Like, I give every cent goes to Dylan. If you see my child, he got every Jordan, Nikes, everything you can think of. My son is very dressed and very taken care of. I don't take any of that. That goes straight to him. And I told Noah, I was like, when he gets older, that check that he gets is gonna go to him when he gets older. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it. And I don't want his father to think like, oh, you know everything. And he know his father knows now. He know we're at a point where we have a relationship. Like, he knows that I take care of Dylan. Like, there's no ifs or but. And everybody knows that kid is taken care of. That means, if anything, he's just spoiled. He's just spoiled because that kid got everything. And so when we was in court, I was telling him, I don't want anything from you. I just need you to acknowledge that he is your son. And because every kid, my thing is, I always said, I never want Dylan to feel like a hole. Like something's missing, because a lot of times when the father they're missing that father part, they tend, like, when they get older, it's like they get rebellious, they get all these things, you know. And I was like, I never want him to go through that,
right?
Because his father he does take care of the other kid. It's just it's something about Dylan that he just, I don't know. But and that's something, and Dylan has come and communicated with me about that, but that's another story. But anyways, through being a single mom, I mean, I took those time off. It was very hard the first year of the, you know, exchanging, like taking Dylan to see his dad. It was really hard for me not to lash out, because he was this mean, like, the way his vibe and everything about his father, like, we just couldn't. And I had to pray every time I would go drop off Dylan and things like that, because and Dylan would cry. He was a baby. He would cry. And I used to be like, oh my God. Sometimes I used to be like, why did I even go after him? Like, why did I even reach out to his mother?
But you knew that it was gonna help him later on.
I know. Now I know, but before I used to be like, the first is like, why am I making my baby go over there when he doesn't want to go?
Right.
And it used to make me cry. And he would come back, like, every time Dylan would come back home, he was a different kid. It was just like, oh my gosh. So I mean, and even though he was, his dad lived like 5-10 minutes from me, he could never be consistent with him. He would go 1 month, 3 months. There was time he went like 6 months without seeing him, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up, this is not the life that I want my son to have. Like, if you're gonna be involved, I need you to be consistent with him. But he wasn't. And so whenever Dylan would see him, he would like freak out. And I used to be like, man, I need a video camera. I wish I could put a video camera at the house, because I don't know. And he's little, so I don't know what's going on. But he would just say, Daddy yell. And Dylan he used to talk he at 1 year old he was very verbal. At 2, 3, they're like, this kid, like, he talk like a grown kid, because he would tell me exactly what's happening. If you talk to him now, Dylan talks like a grown up. Yeah, he's very and I always did very that. Very verbal. Yes. Yeah, he's very verbal. He communicates very well, and that's because I used to do that to him. I hate it when people would baby talk him. I'm like, do not do that to him. I don't like
that. No, me neither.
I was like, when I used to change him, I'd be like, I am changing your diaper right now, and I need you to sit. Like, 5 months old, and I'm like, and I'm like, I need you to sit. Like, I was like, I never talked to him like, and I never be like, ba ba boo boo. No, none of that. I used to tell my mom, Spanish people. Yes. No, we're not doing that with him. We're going to communicate to him what he needs, and that's it. Like, we're not. And so that's how he always.
Dude, that was took a minute verbal. I mean, Mia was always verbal, but like, us Hispanic, we just do that. We did that Google Gaga. Yeah. Or we're always changing a word that it's not really a word. Right. So for the longest time, even sometimes today, Mia will be like, she'll say, before she was saying like cheche, I'm like, it's not cheche. What she meant was chocolate milk. But because, grandparents was always saying cheche, she would say cheche, or instead of saying dog is wow wow. Oh. Cat, meow meow. I'm like, no, that's not right. Yeah. And I just like, correct. I'm like, don't do that. You're confusing. Yes. You're confusing. That's a sound. Yes. You could say, oh, that's a cat. How does the cat sound? Meow meow. You could do it like that, but don't be like, oh, look at a meow meow. No, that's not correct. Yeah. That's a cat. Say cat. Yeah. You can say it in any language.
Yeah. And like I said, he was very verbal. He would tell me exactly what happened. I remember one time I had put Dylan into a daycare, and Dylan was like 2. Yeah, he was like 2. And he started crying. And I was like, why is my son crying every time I drop him off? Like, what's wrong? So one day I pulled up, and his father was there. I was like, what you doing here? How you know he go here? Right. Because I always kept Dylan with me, but this time I had moved him to a different school. And he was like, oh, I'm picking up. He had another kid. And I'm picking up my son. I said, what you mean your son? Why is your son in the same school as my son in the same school? Like, that don't make no sense. Because I had put Dylan there first. And then he had put his son, which is Dylan's younger brother. Okay. And I think they're like a year or 2 apart. And so Dylan would freak out. He would freak out. Like, he'll start crying. And I'm like, why is my son? Come to find out, it was because his father kept dropping off. He thought he was leaving with him. Oh, wow. And so I was like, oh, no. I said, see, that, you should have communicated that with me. Like, you need to tell me when things, like, something changed, because he freaks out. Like, Dylan has really bad anxiety. So he used to freak out every time. So I had pulled him out of the school, and I put him in another school, and I told them they do not let anyone pick him up but me. And I didn't even tell his father where he was, because Dylan is at that age, I just didn't trust him. Yeah. I just did not trust his dad at that time. I was like, he wasn't consistent with him. And the first 3 years of Dylan, it was very hard. It was very hard co-parenting with this man, because he just felt like he can just come in when he want to come in and do what he want to do. And to him, he was like, well, I'm his father. Everything was, well, I'm his father. I'll say, okay, so you can come in, what, 3 months? And then you want to discipline him, and then come back another 3 months and then discipline him, because that's what he used to do. And I was like, that's not parenting.
No, that's not.
That's not parenting. You're scaring him. Yep. Because it's like you're trying to be a dad, but you're not even trying to build a relationship with him, because you're constantly yelling at him and correcting him. Like, he'll be like, Dylan will call him and he'll say, Dylan, and then he'll go, Dylan, good, what? And then he'll say yes. Say yes. And I'm on the phone like, why are you yelling at him? What does that... Why can't you just have a conversation with him instead of just correcting him? Because what you do when you do that to him, he just go, Mommy, here's the phone. He don't want to talk to you.
No, that's it.
He don't want to talk to you.
No, nobody wants to be talking to somebody who's yelling at them all the time, or correcting them all the time.
Or someone that you don't even know. Like, he don't care. He be like, no, I don't want to talk to you.
Doesn't know.
I remember he was like, he's at 3. He was like, I just want to go over Daddy's house for 1 hour. And I was like, he said he only want to go to your house for 1 hour. and to this day I still do that. I'm like, talk to Dylan. I never ever ever make it like, some women be spiteful.
Yeah.
There are some women who are spiteful with their baby daddies, and I'm like, why? There's no need to.
Right.
I let Dylan do it. I'm like, you want to talk to your father? Go ahead, talk to your father. Tell him how you feel. and my son is very verbal, and he would tell you exactly how he feel. And I love it about him. He'll tell you exactly how he feels.
But it's true. And like, why are all these women that just like being spiteful like that? Like, what?
Because they still got feelings.
Yeah, why are you
because they're still in that hurt. They're still in that.
You can't move on. Nope. You gotta let go.
Nope.
You gotta let it go.
Nope.
Yeah. Because I feel like if you can't let go, you can't heal, and then you can't allow your child to heal either. Yeah. You're just like building all that hurt into your child too. Like, don't do that, man. Yeah. That's not healthy.
Yeah, I think the first 3 years, let's say being a single mom, it was hard and it was lonely. I took like that 2.5 years of just finding myself, I guess it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, I dated here and there. I would go on dates and stuff like that, but it was nothing like serious. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, obviously I need to find a man. And my mom was always was the type of person, she never brought different men into our life, and I said, I'm not going to be that type of mom. I'm not going to introduce you to my son unless you're serious. Right. And I did it. And I didn't. I kept him safe. I kept him away from things. Because I was like, if you're not going to be in his life, then I don't need someone dropping in and out.
Right.
I need someone who's consistent with him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so I just dated. I mean, it was nothing wrong. I mean, being a single mom, you got to save everybody. You just date and you just have a good time. Like, you just do like check off kind of thing. Like, ooh, you got a red flag. Ooh, you can't be a baby dad. I remember when I went on a date and a guy was like, just to let you know that, he said, I went on, oh no, he said, I hit, somebody hit baby mama. And I said, ooh, you a hitter. I said, ooh, I can't date you. But I still got a free meal. I took that free meal. I was like, oh, it was nice meeting you, but this ain't gonna happen. But he did something. I forgot he went to jail. I was like, ooh, thank you for telling me that, but thank you for the meal. Hey, you get free meals, single moms.
Oh my god!
Going on dates, you get some free meals. Like, what you want to eat? But yeah, you just gotta realize. I went to this Vertical or Vox. What's the church now?
It's the Vertical. No, okay, I think it's still Vertical.
Okay,
I think
so. I went to Vertical, and it was they had like a group outing or something like that, and I was talking to this lady. I think you may know who she is, but I forgot her name. But anyways, okay. So I had went to this event, and I remember this lady. She was one of Sammy's friend. Okay. And so I've known her for a year. Her kids, we all grew up together. Mm-hmm. And she was a single mom.
Okay.
Of 3 boys. Ooh. And her husband had cheated and whatever. But she had recently got married.
Okay.
To a fine man. I mean, he was fine. And so I said, how did you get them? I said, how did you? Because he was fine. I mean, okay. But I was like, how did you meet him and stuff? And she was just like, oh, I wrote a letter. Like she wrote what she wanted and what she didn't want, right? And she wrote it and she hid it somewhere, like her drawer or somewhere, and she just left it there. And so she, when she finally met this man, which was her son's teacher, right? Okay. It was her son's teacher from middle school, I think it was, and they happened to meet each other because he was visiting Vertical. Okay. And that's how they met each other. She was like, hey, you go to church, and then that's how they met each other. But she was like, when she went back to her list, she saw that he was everything that she wanted on his list. So she prayed over it. She did everything, and God blessed her with everything. So I did the same thing. I wrote everything that I wanted. Okay. And And when I think about, there's some women who are just like, I need someone who's rich, and I need someone. I've never been that person. I've always been a person about personality. And personality, loyal, and honest. Those are 3 things I always look at, because personality and being honest and loyal are things that you cannot change. And whether the person has it or not, you can change being rich or poor. A person could be poor and they go into rich. Right. They can be rich and be poor. Yeah. Those are things that just change. That's that you can't do about.
Yeah. That's life, man.
That's just life.
What you choose, I guess.
But you can't change a person's, whether if they have a good heart or if they're loyal, if they're honest. Those are the 3 things that I look at. And I look at if you got a good relationship with your mother. If you got a good relationship with your mother, he's a keeper. And I look at those things when I was looking at men, because a lot of time when the men have mama issues, guess they're gonna have issues with you, because that means they're not gonna respect you. So that's the things that I was looking for as a single mom. Yeah, and God bless me with that, because you sent me my husband. But yeah, so I was going to church. I was still bringing my son to church as a single mom, and I was just going to school and working full time and just.
I mean, you was doing it.
Yeah, I was doing it. I mean, obviously, I didn't have my own place, and I wish I did, but you know what?
But you was still doing it.
My parents, I was living with my parents, but I had my own car, I had my own job, my son was taken care of. I did it.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was over here, but I was just like, I know Val, and then some people, they were just, oh, she's doing good, she's doing school. I was like, wow, man, I'm so proud that she's just doing it, pursuing. It's hot now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she's just doing it, man, and I was just like, wow, like I don't know if I can be a single mom, and I remember there was some time where I was struggling with JC, and there was a time where we thought that we were gonna get divorced, and we're like, but we decided, we're like, you know what, if it does come to that point where we no longer want to be together, we promise and made a pact that we will always be there to raise Mia Bella, and this was before Lyric. And but we just decided to work on our marriage and everything, and I'm glad to say that we're still together. I'm pushing it through, and because marriage is not easy. Nope. But man, yeah, just seeing you bloom, girl, I was just like, okay, she got a child, she's still going to school, okay. And then when you guys decided to move down, I was like, okay,
yes. So with that, before I go into that, how I met my husband, because I met him through you. You and your husband, we were coming to Florida, right?
Yeah.
For vacation, and y'all were like, oh, well, mind you, I was coming to Florida every year.
Yes.
From high school, because my friend had moved over here, so I was like, oh, I like Florida. I kept coming. Then you moved here, and then we were coming on vacation. We were like, oh,
you just wanted to go out on a date,
or
something,
just
have fun.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be the only person.
Yeah,
single.
And I was like, who do I know that I can I feel like she'll be safe with?
Yeah,
like that's not gonna trying to drug her or kidnap her or something. You know, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just say, connect to your friend out their work, and we didn't work together. It's just he was one of the security guards that was there in our plaza where we used to work at, and I was like, oh, he's a good, cool dude. And I remember how he was just like. I remember he said, and Jason's my witness, that he wanted someone who was similar to me. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I'm like, I'm really crazy. Right. Like, you sure you want someone like me? Yeah, but it's like someone who's like kind, nice, funny, obviously, pretty, it's just having like these morals, and I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? So we, contact Noel and everything. And I was like, I have a cousin who is, she's very smart. Okay. She's gonna definitely speak her mind. Okay. and she's just trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know the first thing the guys think is sex.
Yep.
I was like, okay, if that's something you guys decide to do, that is on you. Okay. But as far as I know, that is not why she's coming down.
Yeah.
Okay. So get that out of the gutter, out of your mind.
Yeah.
And just have a good time. Just show her a good time.
Yeah.
Can you show her a good time?
Yeah.
Okay. Without trying to get into her pants.
Yeah. Well, he had FaceTime me, and he wrote me, and he was like, I am just looking for friends with benefits. I said, well, I ain't the one, because that's just not going to happen. I said, well, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. That's just not going to happen. So then I wrote you. Did I tell you? I don't know what it was. I said, who is this dude? Writing me, tell about he want a benefit thing.
Oh my god! And I'm just like, dude, can you just show her a good time?
I'm like, what? So he called me and he apologized and stuff. I think because in my husband, if everyone knows my husband was born in a little circle for only around Dominicans. Okay, he don't know much about outside Dominican, Dominican people. So, his mom kept him in the bubble. So, he assumed that I was a single mom who wanted his money. And I said, what money you got? You broke just like me. What money what we doing? I was like, you ain't got nothing I want. I was like, I got my own car, a nice car, better than yours.
Yeah.
So what you talking about? And he's like, he assumed that
he was trying to,
like, I guess for him, he thinks like a person who's a single mom, that they come with baggage, and that they have like this, baby daddy drama thing.
And trying to collect. And
it's true. It's true. There are some that do. But I told him, I was like, I don't have baby issue because you know what? I don't want to be with my baby daddy. I don't like my baby daddy. I tolerate my baby daddy because he's my son's father. But we don't have nothing. There's nothing. Our strict relationship is just like, hey, how's Dylan? Fine. Right. How's school? Good. When am I going to see him? When you call. That's it. It's literally that conversation. It's never like, oh, what you doing? It's always been a straightforward kind of text and conversation. As soon as he calls, it goes straight to Dylan. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. So like, dude.
So I explained that to him, and he was like, oh, okay. Like, he started feeling like I was like, and I'm not that type of girl who gonna sleep with you. Like, just not gonna happen.
Right.
You gonna have to give me a good meal or something. You gonna have to do a lot to get this good. That's like, just,
dude, can you relax? I was just have a good time. My goodness. I'm like, because, man, I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember what was going on through his mind at the time, but I do recall those conversations, and I'm just like, bro, like, can you just relax? Just go and have a good time. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's telling you to marry her.
Right.
Like, what? Just have a good time. Can you just show her a good time? That's it.
Yeah. So we talked the whole month, and he fell in love with me, as always, because that's what they do. Because I know me. I know my worth. I know I'm a good woman.
Yeah, he got hooked.
Yes, I know I'm a good woman because I'm a loyal person. I'm honest, and I'm very different compared to all these girls out here. I am not one that's gonna be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. No, I'll be like, what you just said. Like, who you talking to? That's me. I'm not. I am not. I speak my mind, and that's just what it is. And if you don't like it, it's just what
you don't like it. That's it.
I always tell him, kick rocks. I don't care. That's just how I feel. So he liked that. He liked that side. He liked the chase. I think that's what it is. He liked the chase. And I tell girls, I'm telling you girls, guys like chase. They give them a challenge.
Yes.
Give them a challenge, because if you're so easy and you're just there's nothing to work for. No. There's nothing for them to work for. No, you are valued. Like I get it from my mom. I get it from my dad. Even though like they have their own little, but my mom always said in my head, get your car, get your career, because men here, they can leave you whenever they want, and when they do leave, let them leave, and you have your career and you have everything. That's why I went to school. I pushed myself to school. I pushed myself to get my license. I pushed, people in our family don't got license. Or
right.
Is it a lot of Spanish people that don't got a license? I don't know. But
I didn't get my license. You guys got your license real fast.
Yeah.
But I was always taking the bus because I didn't feel the need to have a car. Because the bus was always there, and I'm just like, why would I pay for a car and gas and everything when the bus is right there? Is much cheaper.
Yeah.
So I just saved a lot of money until I got I was right before I got married, and that's when I got my license. But before that, I just rode the bus.
Yeah. I just knew that I wanted. I've always had it in my head, like, you gotta do what you need to do for you and your son, because these men gonna come and leave. Like, single mom, like, you gotta do what you gotta do, because men are gonna come up and leave. You don't know what's gonna happen. So I always had that mindset. So I had my own. Mom was like, get your own car, get your own money, because it is what it is. And so dating my husband, we dated a whole year. Well, the first month, so we talked for the first whole month, and then like he sent me flowers and a teddy bear, I think it was.
I think so.
It was flowers and a teddy bear to my job, and I was like, I never had that happen. I've dated guys, and I never had someone like express how they feel like the way he did. So he sent me the flowers and the teddy bear. He was like, can't wait to meet you. See you in July. I know it was in July. So when I went there, so we talked for a whole month. We finally met each other. It was awkward at first, like meeting each other and things like that. That same night, he had we went out to eat at what is that buffet? It was a buffet he took me to. What's that place? I forgot. He took me to a buffet. And then we went to movies, and we had drinks. Okay. And then afterwards, he was like, he read this whole like speech to me. Like he does this speech. He read this whole little thing that he did, and I was just like, oh Lord, I was like this awkward. I was like, what is about to happen? What is happening? And so he's like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And then he gave me like a necklace and everything, and I was like, sure. And that's how it was. It was just like, sure. So then I was his girlfriend within that month. Look at that. Ooh, girls got that title fast. So I was his girlfriend, and then so I was around July, and then September. So that was like what, July, August, September?
I think so.
2 months, right?
Yeah, about like 2 months.
August, September, yeah. So then September, we went to Fort Lauderdale. I flew to Fort Lauderdale for my birthday. And he planned this whole, like he literally took me out for my birthday. We had this, my sister came with me because I was like, I don't want to go by myself. So my sister came with me and stuff. And so we rented out this like little house that's on the border of Fort Lauderdale, like Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and stuff. And then he took me like jet skiing. He took me like to like with the casino. This is my first time ever being around. Like he just like explored and took me to different things, which I was like, oh, I like this.
He was spoiling you.
This is nice. And so our relationship got deeper because we literally spent from July to like the end of I would say like 3 months, just talking, a lot of talking, because
it was going quick.
Yes.
Like I was just like, what happened here? I'm like,
yes. September, my birthday came. He dad, so remember he got me a chain just to be my girlfriend, to be his girlfriend. Then he got me this nice necklace. So he took me out at night and for my birthday. This is my birthday weekend. And he was like, I love you and all this stuff. He gave me a bracelet. I said, I'm getting all these gifts. Like he like literally, and the funny thing is he surprised me because he was like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. He kept saying I'm not gonna make it to Fort Lauderdale because he's like, I don't even know what happened. He kept telling me I don't think I'm gonna make it, and so he had texted my sister. And if anybody knows, my sister, me and her like that. So to get her involved in the surprise, I was just like, so when I got to the airport, he was there picking us up.
Oh, wow.
So my sister was like, got you. And I was like, oh, he told me he wasn't going to make it. So it was a little thing. But so, yeah. So
yeah,
3 months.
You, girl.
Yeah, he did. So funny thing is, the whole year, the year of us dating, that whole 12 months, every first of the month, he sent me a gift.
That's cool.
He sent me a gift as our anniversary, and he would write me this long love note of why he loves me, which he needs to start doing more often.
Why did that fall off?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, he did all that for the first year. One time he surprised me at work. Like he literally took a flight and flew and like surprised me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was around April. He showed up at my job and I was like, and the funny thing is that night before he flew. So I don't think you know this story.
I don't know the full story, but I remember he was there.
Yeah.
Like,
but
okay.
So the night before, right? Some random person, you know how New Haven is, right? Mm-hmm. So this random person kept ringing the doorbell, right? And I'm like, who this person ringing the doorbell, right? Mm-hmm. And he kept like weirdo. So I thought it was like my mom or something, because it was around like time she gets out of work. She's at work second shift. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking out the window, I don't see anybody. So I'm like, all right, let me go see if my mom. It was a random dude. I shut that door so fast because I was like, I could have got like kidnapped, you know? So I shut the door so fast. I ran up the stairs and I locked the door. Dylan was a baby. He was like 2. He was like, sleeping. And I got the knife and I called 911 and I called Noel. And I'm like, somebody's at the door. And I'm like, he better not even try it. And I called my mom. I called everybody. And my mom was like, I'm on my way. And because I guess she was coming home from work. So she's on the car like, I'm on my way. And I was like, Mom, there's a weirdo outside. There's a weirdo. Be careful. And stuff. And I thought it was her, but wasn't her. But so the next day, right? So next day, I go to work and I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
What happened, right? And then I see a man standing at the door at my job. And they're like, Velvet, somebody here for you. I said, it better not be that crazy dude. I said, it better not be. He better not have followed me to the job. And they're like, no, I don't think so. I said, girl, I'm telling you right now. I said, it better not be that same dude. Because the dude was standing, my father was saying the night before, the guy was standing, you know where the fire station is?
Yeah.
The guy was standing there waiting for my dad to leave.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was like, I hope this person's not following me.
Oh, my gosh.
Or a crazy person. So I'm like, who is this? Right. There's no reason why any dude should be popping up at work for me.
For real.
Who is at the door? The owner was like, I think there's someone here. I said, I'm telling you, sir, there's no one here in Connecticut that needs to see me. Okay? So I go to the front. I'm like this, really sketchy. Yo, I'm looking.
I would be sketchy
like
too.
This.
Like,
and the guy, and then when Noel turned around, he had his back. The thing, he has his back looking. And so I'm like, who is that? I don't know him in the back of his head.
Right.
So he turns around. I'm like, oh, it's Noel. I said, man, you don't know what I was just thinking. So yeah, he surprised me with that. So the first year, then we moved to Florida, and then one thing I always, and I forgot to say this when I first started dating Noel, and one thing single mom need to do is set boundaries.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with him, and I said to him, we had this conversation. I said, when do you see yourself getting married, right? Then I said, I've always been a person. I'm like, I'm not a person that's going to date you for 5-10 years. And then you decide to tell me you want to marry me. I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. That's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to play games because I have a kid. I'm not going to play house. Mm-hmm. So, what we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? That's like, I think that was like our, like, I think it was a date around my birthday when I was like 3 months. And I was like, tell me you love me. What are we doing? Because, like, I told him, I think at the round time I told him, like, I do want to move to Florida. Mm-hmm. But I need to know, like, where we're going. Like, right. What we doing. Because I cannot play house with a son, like my son, because I don't want someone popping in and out of his life.
Right.
So, I had said to him, I was like, for me, so for him, I think he said 5 years. He wanted to wait 5 years to get married. And I was like, I can't do that. I don't have 5 years to give you. Like, I can give you 3 years, but I can't give you 5 years. I feel like 5 years is a lot. Mm-hmm. Of my time, of being with someone. That's a long time. That's a long time to tell me if you want to marry me, like, right? That is it because
because you're an adult,
right?
For me, I did 5 years, but then again, I started with JC at 16.
That's different.
I'm like, that's okay, different. 5 years is different.
That's different.
We young, and I think we could have waited a little bit more.
Yeah, that's different. That's different because you don't have a kid. You're young. I wouldn't say for young people, but when you got a kid,
you're an adult. Right.
You gotta, like, what we doing? We're not playing house. Like, even though I was what? I was like 27. So yeah, I was pretty much.
Yeah, you're an adult.
Yeah. So I was like, what we doing? Because
I don't like that when playing house. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're living with your boyfriend or girlfriend for what? What are you doing? You're acting like a wife, but you don't got no ring on the finger. So what are you doing?
I don't know. There's some people, they just like, I don't want to marry. But I feel like that's okay. But then it's still there. At the end, there's still commitment. Like, some
you're
people don't want
playing that wifey duties.
Yeah.
Don't expect that wife duties. I'm not your wife.
Right. Because I ain't got a ring. Right. I ain't got no.
Don't expect those wife duties. I'm not your wife.
Right.
I'm gonna go do me. We're cohabitating.
That's how I feel.
That's
how I feel. I mean, like I said, I gave him 3 years, and I said 3 years, and he was like, fine, right? He said, fine, I can deal with that. So we started, when 2 year hit, I brought it up. I say, so I ain't got no ring on my finger in this 2 years. Ooh. And so we had like a little breakup, like for like, what, 2 months? It was like a 2 month thing. Mm-hmm. And so I said to him, I was like, what are we doing? And he was just like, I said, like, first of all, he was Catholic and I was Christian. And so obviously I was like, well, I can't keep living a life like this. Like, I want to go back to church. We did live with each other for like, 6 months or so. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not me. I cannot do this. Mm-hmm. I don't know how women do it. I personally cannot do it. I was like, I cannot
live with a man.
Live with a man. I tried it and it doesn't work for me. And I was like, that I feel like guilty. I feel unhappy because I'm not married. I feel like I'm giving you me and I'm not getting anything in return back. And I'm like, no, you're not getting this for free no more. So I had packed up, moved, did what I need to do, and started my own life. And I had to pray about it, and I was like, and I remember back then, Noah was a stubborn person. He was a stubborn man. My husband was a stubborn man. He was stuck in his old ways, and that was like, he was kind of like, all right, here's your pack your stuff, do you.
Right. And
so I said, oof, that hurt me. But that's one thing I love my husband. He's honest. Like, and sometimes his honestness is like, can be harsh. But I can take it. I can take it because I like when people are honest with me. Mm-hmm. I hate when people go around the bush with me.
Right.
Like, just tell me, how do you feel?
Right.
What is going on? Because I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to guess. I don't want to do all that. I don't like doing it. Just tell me straight up what's happening.
Right.
So, so that's what we did. Like, we just broke up. I was like, we just need a break. Like, maybe this is, and then on top of that, the first year was a year of us not seeing each other. You know what I mean? We did a whole year of just traveling here and seeing each other, right, and then seeing each other online, whatever, distant. We did a year of long distance.
Right.
The second year was us actually seeing each other
together, right,
in the same state. right? So I got to see his other side, and then he got to see my other side, which we clashed. But then, you know, as you know, when we separated at 2 months, and we had a conversation with each other, and he was like, can I come back, whatever? And I was just like, well, the only way you're gonna come back if I get a ring, because I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. Like, I don't want to do that. I already did that. I don't want to do it no more. And I understand, like, some people like, oh, you got, you know, you kind of like pressure. I don't feel like I pressure him, because he has a choice. He could have said no.
He could have said no.
He could have said no. And he could just left me alone. Like I always told him, I said, my husband does not have any kids. Dylan is my bio son. So, like, he doesn't have to be with someone who has a kid.
Right.
He could be with someone else if he really wanted to. He chose you. Yeah.
He chose me and Dylan.
Right. Because when
you choose you got to choose your son as well.
And that's what I said to him. I said, this is your 2 months. I want you, like, let's just take a break and see where we want. Because do you want someone with a kid and has to do all these issues? Because you don't have to. Right. You can walk away, go marry.
Because the moment you decide to be married, you're automatically a dad.
Yes.
You know, so it's like stepping into that role. Are you gonna ready to step into that role?
That's what I want right now. I want a man that's gonna step up and do what I need you to do. And if you're not ready for that position, leave me alone. Do me a favor. I'm fine. One thing about me, I will be fine. I will cry. I'll be honest. I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna feel something hurt.
I'll be fine, because my family always have my back. At the end of the day, my family always have my back. So I always knew that I would be okay. And so those 2 months went by. He was like, "Oh, can I come back?" I was like, "The only way you're gonna come back is if I get a ring, because I'm not
you
gotta
set those boundaries."
Yes.
I feel like if you don't set those boundaries, then it's just like you're gonna continue playing those house. You know, your man is not gonna be serious. You're not gonna be as serious. You know, you can just get yourself stuck in a situation you really don't want to be in. Yeah. You know, you could say all day, no, I don't want to get married or whatever. Like, you know, deep inside.
And a man knows within 2 years if they want to marry you or not.
Yeah, like
I learned that from Steve Harvey. Read his book.
I follow a lot of stuff. Yes, like you don't want to be living in that kind of situation. Come on now, no. For that, just live on your own. Yeah. For what?
Yeah, and when you have a kid and you have different men coming in and out, it doesn't look right.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, and it's like, for me, like, there's so many people, like, I don't want nobody touching my kid. It took me a while for Noel to change my Dylan diaper and things like that. I was like, I don't want nobody.
But it's not good, because then you're allowing the kid to think that it's okay for him to do that as he gets older. Oh, my dad did it. My mom allowed my stepfather to just men to be coming in and out, so he's gonna think it's okay to do that to other women.
Right. And I was like,
no, you got to set it straight from the beginning.
No. So we took that 2 months off, and then he asked me to marry me. New Year's Eve? It was New Year's Eve. He asked me, and then with like 6 months later, I just said to him, like, once we got engaged, we needed to find our own place, right? And I said, like, well, like I said, just because we're engaged, I still don't want to move in with you until I'm married. Like, I started going back to church. I was like, I don't want to live that lifestyle anymore. I don't want to feel that way again. Like, that feeling of, I don't know, it wasn't right. And like I said, I need peace in everything I do. So I didn't have peace in that. And so we went, I think it was like, we got engaged in January. Yeah, New Year's Eve. By July, we got married. And that was because we was going to wait a whole year. But my parents were in town that week, and I said, you know what, my mom's coming and my dad's coming. I want my dad and my mom to be there when we go to the courts and get married. Like, I was never, like, obviously one day I would like to have my wedding, and that's one of the things I tell my husband every day. I'm like, in our 10 years we're gonna have a wedding, and it's gonna be the best wedding ever, because I feel like the first couple years, it's just you guys just getting to know each other.
Yes.
And let me tell you, yes, even though we got married, we still had issues. And like I said, it's a lot of praying and a lot of people praying over you because we had to go to marriage counseling afterwards. And I remember going, and that's, if you ever have a topic about marriage, that's a great topic to have. But just to shorten it, but I remember going to this marriage group at church, and it was a bunch of people who were just engaged. I think it was like two of us that were just got married. We were only like 2-3 months into it. So we were able to, because we're newlywed, we were able to take the classes. And so I was like, oh my God. Like every time I was the only one speaking my mind and being honest what was going on in our marriage. And everyone's like, oh, like in a lot of, I guess everyone was in a lovey-dovey stage.
They're not there yet.
And so I was like,
it hasn't hit them.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't like this. I was like, can we have our own little group time with the mentor? Yeah. Because I was like, I feel like our story is different from everybody else. Right. And I was like, we're actually in our marriage. Right. Like, we hitting, like, we bumping heads. Like, we about to hurt one another. There's a time when he came home and I was like, I wish you would. Because I would be like, what we doing? Like, I want to fight. Bro. Because, and I thank God that my husband never, ever, 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 and if you meet my husband, he is not a conflict person.
No, he's not.
He is not. But he can, like, make you want to smack him, though, because he thinks he knows everything. He thinks he knows everything. Yeah. He's smart. He think because he book smart. And then, obviously, I know I'm not book smart, but I am street smart. So... yeah, book smart, we just bump heads. Yes. Yeah. I get that. Because he'll go, well, Google said. I don't give a damn what Google said. Like, I really don't care what Google said. Like, Google can kiss my butt. I don't care. So, and he thinks Google is the answer. I don't care. I don't care what Google said. We used to argue like that. And then in the meeting, people look at us like, is this what marriage is? Yes. 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 Yo. Like, I remember one couple, they were like, they're like, does he do anything? They're like, no, I just love him. I'm like, no.
They're not there yet. It hasn't hit them. No.
I said, what?
It hit us, I would say, like, between the second and third year. Oh, man. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, what? I literally ran away. I did because the first year we were on our own in our own apartment, right? The second year we had moved in with his mom. And it was only to take over the rental lease because they were moving to Florida. And so we were there. But then while we were there during the second year, we found out that the landlord was not paying the rent, the money that we were giving him. And so we got a notice on our door that they were going to, what's the word? Like we needed to move. Yeah. We were pretty much getting, like, kicked out. And I'm like, hold on a second. Like, we've been paying the rent, you know? But... I mean, we didn't know this. We did not know this then, but technically we could have just lived there longer than what it said on there because we were actually paying. But at that time, we didn't know. We was young. And so we were like, man, we got to move out of here. Where were we supposed to go? You know, we wasn't really prepared to just move and rent anywhere. So then we hopped right over to my mom's, you know, and I'm just like, wow, this is not working. Like, I didn't get married to be hopping into, like, people's places like that. Like, this is ridiculous, you know? So then he was supposed to, like, got some kind of job connection in Tennessee, whatever. So that was in the second to third year when we hopped over to Tennessee. Okay, all right, we tried to Tennessee. And that third year, dude, I was like, no, this is not working. Nope. Yeah. I literally left him in Tennessee, went to Connecticut for like about a month or so, and then I finally returned back.
Yeah, I didn't run away, but I did, like, go to my sister's house, things like that.
I went to your sister's house.
Yeah, we always go to her house.
I went to your sister's house. I'm going up to Connecticut.
Good advice.
Yep.
But I mean, like I said, meeting him, but I had to do the work. I had to do the work to meet my husband. And to this day, I'm still working on me. And there's a lot of things I need to work on. But I'm learning. I'm now being more affectionate to my husband, and it took a while. It's even though I was married to him, but I was still in that hurt from my past. That it took a lot, and he was patient with me. Yeah, he always was. One thing I said, he was always patient with me, and even in the marriage counseling, they were like, you just gotta give her time, and I would say, give me time. I said, because I can't. One thing about me, I'm not fake. That's one thing about me. I'm not. I can't fake it. I can't be like, oh, I love you. Like, if I don't feel it, I don't feel it. Right. And I'm not going to do it. And like with him, he'll be like, give me a hug, and I'm like, but I don't want a hug. Right. I don't want it. But now we're like, he can't keep his hands off me. No, we can't. And like it's a process, and it's patience, because you need someone to have patience with you, because I know I'm crazy. I know I'm a handful. I know I go to mood swings, and he just adapts to it. He knows me. Now we've been 8 years now. He adapts to me. He stepped up when he didn't need to step up, and Dylan calls him dad now, which his real father hates that he does, but there's nothing I can say. Nah. He has stepped up to be the man that Dylan needs to be. So being a single mom, I mean, just praying, read your word, and just wait on God. God got somebody for you. Yeah, don't rush into things. No, set those boundaries. Set those boundaries, man. I mean, let these dudes know, like, no, you and write down what you want. Yeah, and one thing I love about my husband, that he lets Dylan know that mommy's the queen of the house. Mommy's the queen. So I like that. Dylan sees us hugging, and he sees us. That's one of the things we make sure that he sees how a man should treat a woman. Yes. Because if me and him go into an argument or anything like that, and we really, to be honest, our arguments is literally just us like debating. It's never like, we never get like loud. Never, ever. I've been with him for like 8 years, and I don't think our arguments ever gotten like loud. Gotcha. Even when we disagree, it's never loud. It's always like if I'm talking to a friend, like, no, you're wrong. I just be like, you're wrong. He's like, you're wrong. He'll be like, you're wrong. Like, but yeah, but I know I'm wrong for getting loud, but I be getting loud sometimes. But Noah's a person that doesn't get loud with you. Yeah, he's always neutral. Oh no, I start getting loud, and he start getting loud, and I'm like, why are you yelling? Because you're yeah. Once in a blue, he'll like, I think like one time he ever like went loud, and that was when he was really upset. I don't even know what I did to him, and I was like, oh, wow, I really hurt him. I was like, oh my God, I never see him do that. But our arguments is never like, arguments would be stupid. Yeah, but. it's really like petty. No, one day? Yeah, the other couple of days he was like, I had expressed something to him, and like sometimes he can be like, let's say, like sometimes, why would you do that? Like, kind of make me feel like I'm like slow, or like I'm a little girl. I said, I don't like when you do that to me. I don't like when you make me feel like I'm young, and like a little girl. Like, you're talking to me like I'm a little girl, like I'm I don't know. Yeah. And I was like, I'm trying to tell you something, and you're going back to me like I'm like correcting me as like I'm a little girl. Like a child. Yeah. Right. And I was like, I don't like that. So I walked away, and then I went to church, and I was giving him the mean eye, and we're at practice and everything. And so he came home. He's like, I'm sorry for making you feel that way. I was like, thank you for saying that. But yeah, you did make me feel some type of way. I was like, you made me not want to tell you things. And so, and that's just us. Yeah. That's how I am. I'll say like, what? And then I walk away. And then he'll come back. And then he'll be like, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just... Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that, with everything, you did find someone, that you can share with, have that connection with, have that relationship with you and your son, that can accept you and your son, because not a lot of people has the capability to do that, and I I like seeing him, he's just stepping into that role where, because I remember at the beginning he was just like, oh no, I don't mess with chicks who have kids. Like, he was just like, no. And I remember at the beginning, I was just like, bro, I'm not telling you to marry her. I'm just telling you just go out, have a good time, whatever. And he was just like, no. At first, just like, why do you just go out with a girl? She's pretty, she's like, she's smart, whatever. She got her own money, she got her own thing, she don't need anything from you. Just show her around Florida. That's it. That's it. And then he finally gave in, and it's just so weird and like funny. Like, it was like how everything came about. I was just like wow, I did not expect this at all.
I never expected either.
I was just like,
but I always felt like my husband wasn't in Connecticut. No. I always felt like I remember myself, I was like, I gotta move to a different state. I was either Florida, I was like Atlanta, I said Texas, one of them three, I'm going, because I could not take Connecticut anymore. I was like, I need to go and look where I'm at, Florida.
Yeah, the same, man. I need to.
My husband's in Florida because Connecticut's small. It's like everyone knew each other,
kind of, yeah.
And I was like,
we had our own circles.
Yeah. And then, like, if I date someone, I'm like, oh, my ex. It was like that all the time. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to date somebody though. I want someone that does not know me. Like, literally, and they judge me for me, not my past.
Right.
They have a crazy past. So I'm just like, I'm very happy that he doesn't see that side of me. That I can be a different person. Like, he doesn't know old Tosh, because I was a different person back then. I tell him all the time, I say, I was crazy.
I tell the same thing. I'm like, you didn't know me from then. Okay, you knew me when I was starting to like do a whole new version of myself.
Yes.
Okay, so trust me, like, this version is you lucky.
Yes. Yes.
Lucky.
Yes.
But no, for real, like, I'm glad you came, share your story. I do believe, there's just so many women that are struggling, just day to day, just trying to be that single mom that may not have the support or may have the support, but it's just like trying to figure out, find themselves and stuff like that, and just want to remind, you ladies that you can do it. You can put yourself, into anything you want. You just gotta set your mind, reset your mindset, and you can do anything. Legit anything.
Yeah, and just because you had one heartache and that one person hurt your heart doesn't mean there's no good guys out there. I've always said that to myself. I was like, I know there's someone for me. I know I'm going to be married one day. I want to be married. I've always been that person. I always had relationships. I like being in a relationship. I don't like being by myself. There's some people like to be by themselves, whatever. I can't be by myself, but I don't want to be by myself. I don't. When my son graduates and whatever, I want to be traveling with my husband.
You want to have that companion
and doing whatever with my husband. I tell my husband all the time, like, I want. That's what I like. That's what I want. Not saying that I need it, because I don't need a man, but I want a man. I want to be with someone.
Yeah, have the companion to share with.
There's some women that they're okay being single, and I'm okay with that. But I just don't want the single moms or single women to stop just because baby daddy hurt you. Move on. Yep. I'm telling you, the moment, the way I deal with my son's father is I was trying to find the scripture, but I always think about the way I deal with people is they don't know better, right? My son's father never had a father figure in his life, so he don't know how to treat a woman,
right?
You know what I mean? So when I think of someone who treats me bad, I look at them as like, maybe they don't know better. That's where psychology comes in, right? That's why I think of psychology. I like, okay, why are they treating me this way? Maybe because they don't know better, right? So I leave it to God. And I say, God, you know what? You take care of them, because I know that when you take care of them, it's going to be better for me. I'm going to move on and I'm going to do better. Because at the end, I think last year or so, his father, my son's father, finally reached out to me. He was like, oh, you're doing such a good job with Dylan. And he was like, I'm sorry for everything. Look at that. Out of all them years,
right,
I finally got
an apology
for what he did. And I could have been spiteful.
Yeah.
I could have been evil. I could have done so many things to this man, but I didn't. And as a single mom, just focus on your kid and your dreams, and everything will come to pass. Everything, especially if is God first. When you find that man, make sure he's a godly man or whatever you believe in. That you guys set that boundary and have the same values. Because if you don't, then it's not gonna work.
No.
And you have to know, but you have to know what you want. That's another thing too.
You gotta know what you want.
You gotta know what you want. Like for me, I was like, what's the most important thing to me? Someone who's loyal. Someone who's gonna have my back. Right. Because there's gonna be times where like I may make mistakes. And there's been times people like I would date someone and the one mistake I do, they break up with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. And like when I'm married, I'm married.
That's it.
That's it.
Right.
You know,
you gotta figure it out. Me and Noel, we always said, we're not doing that divorce thing. We don't even bring it up. It's not in our vocabulary. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna walk away. We're gonna come back and we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna compromise. Marriage is all about compromising. And that's, like I said, another survival. I know. I gotta do it.
But what I'm saying is, loyalty for me, that's so important, because I'm like, who gonna ride with me?
Right.
Who gonna ride? You ain't riding with me, we ain't gonna be together. Nope. And honesty, be honest with me. Like for me, don't play game. I don't got time for games. No. What we doing?
Exactly.
Who you? Be honest. I cannot stand when people lie in my face. I'm like, and one thing my husband never does, he is very honest with me, as much honest as he can. I always say, I know people lie here and there, that's fine, but be honest with the important things that I need to know. Right. You know. And what else did I say? Be honest. Like I said 3. What did I say?
I already forgot. Loyalty. And patience. You gotta have patience with me, because everyone comes from different cultures and different backgrounds. They have their own different paths. Have their own different baggage and stuff like that. So just be open-minded. Just try to be open-minded that there's still love out there and there's still good guys out there. Yes. And tell me, look for please. You see those red flags? Don't do it. Don't ignore the red flags. No. Look at the relationship they have with their mother. Look how they treat their mother, because the way they treat their mother is how they're going to treat you. That's true.
So, even though they say, oh, they're mama's boy. Hey, I'd rather take a mama's boy.
That is true. I have a mama's boy.
I got one too.
And my son is now a mama's boy too. Yeah. So, you know that he's going to grow up to be a good man.
Yes. All right. Telling you. Just there are some, I know, I've seen women like, oh, every man's the same. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not. You just got to be patient. And don't bring, until you are healed from your old relationship, there's no reason why you should be dating anybody. No. Because you're going to bring that into your relationship.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the first thing, you know.
So I took two almost 3 years before I started dating my husband. Yeah, like I needed some time. I needed to forgive this man. It took me 3 years to actually sit in an environment with him. That's how I knew that I can, like, I don't even care. Like, when I used to see him with Dylan when they were little, my heart used to pound. I used to get angry. I was like, that means I'm not over him. Yeah. But now I'm like, nothing.
That's where you ladies gotta be, man. Yeah, where you could be in the room with him and that means nothing. You know your worth. You know where you're at. You know where you're going. You know you're happy. You know, like, dude. Like, don't waste your time, man, on that. Don't waste your time. Yeah. You know, because then you waste time on yourself. There's other things that you could be doing and succeeding in life. You can't move on without that. Out of your life. Yeah. Like, live your life. Have fun with your child, you know? Dude. Yeah. But I appreciate, you know, you coming in and sharing your story and, you know, even with the whole autism as well, because it's just, I do believe that we need to like create something, you know, whether it is in school or I don't know, something where we can teach that part as well, because I do believe a lot of parents need help with that.
One day we'll do something about that.
We got to do something. Yes, got to create something for that.
I will talk more. I can talk more in depth on that, but yeah, I'm excited for this path that I'm in, and I can't wait to do more work in that field and help out, especially my minorities. My passion is helping my minority family, and to give them that. Tips and strategies and skills,
resources and tools,
everything that they need to have a successful life in the future for their child. Because I know that it's hard, but if you research and get the help that you need, you'll be fine. And don't wait. And start looking. You can tell when they're like 1, 2, 3 years old. Start getting the help as soon as possible. And it's hard when you hear your child got a disability and things like that. I know I was upset. I was sad when I found out my son has anxiety and things like he has anger, things like that. But I got him the help that he needs. But knowing that he got the help, I know when he gets older, those strategies that he has now is going to help him in the future.
Yes.
So that helps me sleep at night. So
yep Well, ladies, I want to thank you for tuning in into What About the Ladies podcast. If you would like to watch, laugh, learn more, please subscribe on YouTube. Again, if you like to watch the podcast on YouTube, or you can follow on Spotify or Audible. And if you have any questions, you like to collaborate, share your story, just message me, message us on the What About the Ladies podcast at gmail.com. And we'll definitely, connect and share your story, man. It's gotta be told, Yeah. My thing is definitely to uplift one another. And this is my way of doing it. So you guys, ladies, have something to share, just email me. Okay. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Velvet, for joining me here today.
Yep, no problem.
And until next time, ladies, thank you. Bye.
Bye.